What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a late night edition of TTP Sports. My goodness, that draft just dragged on and on and on and on and on. My God, it's past midnight and we're doing a stream here talking about Howie Roseman's masterclass and the Eagles' fantastic first round of the NFL draft. You can honestly just look at this entire first round, these two picks that the Eagles made, and then just judge it from the rest of the draft there. You can already count this as an A-plus draft from the talent that this Eagles team got in this first round. It's just simply amazing. You know, they got a philosophy right now, and that's just draft every person that played on Georgia's defense. That's basically it. You get Jordan Davis last year, Nakobe Dean, then now you get, Jalen Carter, basically your replacement to Javon Hargrave, pairing him with Jordan Davis. That's going to be a nightmare for most offenses in the NFL. And then you get Nolan Smith, a guy that you put back there, learn from guys like Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat and everything like that. It's just a fantastic draft. And this first round was just so weird. And it felt like everything just fell into the lap of Howie Roseman, and he just literally just did anything that he wanted to. Trading up just one spot from 10 to 9 to get Jalen Carter. Basically, the grand scheme of it, you only give up a 4th-round pick next year to the Chicago Bears. You gave up one pick. Yeah, you traded away the 10th overall. You swapped picks there, but in the grand scheme of things, you gave up one pick, and that was a 4th-rounder just to move up one spot. And you get Jalen Carter, who is overall probably one of the best talents in this draft. Everyone knows why he fell so far is because of the off-the-field stuff. And just talking about that entire thing with Jalen Carter, I understand the off-the-field stuff. I understand why people were so skeptical about getting that, some of the people that you see on social media. But overall, this was a consensus pick. There was so much talk about, how much the Eagles love Jalen Carter and all that stuff, how connected they were to him. And if Jalen Carter went anywhere near that 10th overall pick in the draft, the Eagles were going to do everything in their possibility to move up and get him. And even if he were to fall to 10, they would pick him regardless there at 10. And he fell to 9. They, probably didn't want to risk anything, Chicago trading with someone else to move up to that 9th pick to draft Carter. The Eagles do it. They give up one pick basically to do it, and they draft Carter. So with the off-the-field stuff, I understand it's very, very skeptical. It's very cautious on that front. But when you're looking at this Eagles team, the way they're built, they're one of the class organizations in the league, how they're run, how they handle things. And all of those leaders in that locker room, all the veteran leaders that they have, you got Jason Kelce, you got Lane Johnson, Jalen Hurts, probably one of the best leaders there. All the guys that are on the defense, all the veterans, you got Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Darius Slay, James Bradbury, a ton of veterans that are on that defensive side, that offensive side, players that have been in this city for a very, 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 very long time. I'm sure this Eagles front office is very confident, and Jalen Carter has a ton of people that he is familiar with because they have so many guys that are from Georgia. Teammates with Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean, and also you're drafting a lot of Georgia players from those 2 national championship teams. Like, talking about some of the best defenses, probably the best defense in college football history. Basically, we're becoming Georgia North. That's what it's becoming at this point. Howie Roseman, my God. Like, seriously, how does the league continue to let Howie Roseman do these things? It seems just so odd. It's amazing to see. And then you're looking around the rest of the first round, all the talk about Bijan Robinson, how a lot of Eagles fans wanted to draft Bijan Robinson at 10. He goes to the Falcons at 8. And for the Atlanta Falcons, they had a running back last year that broke 1,000 yards. An undrafted guy, and you're talking... No, I don't think he was undrafted. I think he was a late-round pick. And you're going out there and drafting Bijan? It doesn't make sense. It physically just doesn't make sense, regardless, taking the running back in the top 10, which in my honest opinion is still a very terrible idea. I don't know why teams still try to do that, taking running backs in the top 10 when there are clearly more needs that, that are more important than a running back. A running back's like, the icing on the cake if you get a good running back. I feel like there's more in the grand scheme of everything than getting a good running back. It's not knocking Bijan or everything. He's a great talent. He's probably the best running back in the draft. But to pick him that high in the top 10, it just doesn't make sense, in my opinion. And I thought it never made sense for the Eagles. I wouldn't mind if it was in the late stages of the first round. I didn't expect him to go at 8. Personally, I did not expect the Falcons to be that dumb and pick him at 8. It just doesn't make sense at all. And for a lot of these weird picks that were just going around the first round, there were so many chances, like 3 players that, could have fell to the Eagles that they did. Nolan Smith, Joey Porter Jr. A lot of guys were falling into the Eagles' hands that you could probably say that you would love the draft. But Nolan Smith was the guy. He fell into the Eagles' arms. They didn't have to do anything. They really did not. And that was just some master class work there from Howie Roseman and his Eagles front office. They really didn't have to do much. Everything just fell into their laps. Yeah, you did have to move up one spot, but in the grand scheme, you gave up a 4th round pick. But now, you infuse this defense with a lot of youth and a lot of familiarity with all these Georgia kids. You fix those off-the-field issues with Jalen Carter, I'm very confident that they will. There's too much leadership in this locker room for that to go amiss, in my honest opinion. Jalen Carter was a consensus probably top 3 pick if it wasn't for the off-the-field stuff. The dude is insane. He's absolutely insane on how good he is. He's a freak of nature. And if you pair him next to Jordan Davis for the foreseeable future, that is going to be a duo that dominates the NFL for a very long time. And it's going to be amazing to watch. It's going to be so fantastic. Because Jordan Davis is going to be in a bigger role next year. The defensive line needed a major upgrade because you lost Javon Hargrave. You brought back Fletcher Cox. He's not going to be an every snap type of guy. That's not who he is anymore. We saw when he played less of the snaps that he was way more productive than playing every single snap. But now, you infuse a very young talent and probably the best overall talent in the draft in Jalen Carter. That just makes you 20 times better. In this Eagles defense, it's still good. Now, you can't be expecting a guy to get 10 plus sacks like a lot of guys did last year. That's just physically not going to happen. But just to think what this defense could be. You're adding all of these guys. Nakobe Dean's going to take a major step next year in a new role. He's going to be very important for this defense as well, because you lost some guys there. You lost CJ and everything like that. But now you put Nakobe Dean into those areas. You lost Marcus Epps. You lost TJ Edwards. So Nakobe Dean's going to take that next step. Does Nolan Smith get a shot? Maybe. Maybe he's a guy that's more of a project, but it's still a fantastic talent nonetheless. He had a fantastic, combine. If I'm looking a lot of the stuff on Nolan Smith, it was just, I believe he had the fastest 40-yard dash, I believe. Look, this is his initial scouting report on Nolan Smith. Smith has a relatively thin frame, which may limit his contributions at this point. At the point of attack, he does a good job using his hands to get off blocks and is relentless in his pursuit. One area in his game that he could improve on is his overall strength and turning speed to power into the rush. The Georgia native shows good change of direction and first quit. So basically, the entirety of that, Nolan Smith is very fast, and he can get to the guys very quickly. The one knock on him, like I said, where the development side's going to have to come to, he's just got to get stronger. And that's basically the bottom line there. But still, overall, it's a really good talent to get. And you just add, to an already stacked defense. And for Jalen Carter, man, it's just looking at everything there. All his stuff going back to Georgia. In 2021 and 2022, he had 15.5 tackles for loss and 6 sacks on both of those years. 6'3", 310 pounds. The dude is a flat-out stud. It's just overall, it's that legal trouble that he got into. You know, the drag races and everything like that, avoiding jail time. So it was just, you know, something there, fatal car crash and everything. And I do believe this Eagles front office is going to get that, you know, settled through. They're going to get that, those attitudes, that stuff, they're going to get that away from him. Make him focus on the team. Make him focus on football, getting better every single day. I'm sure Jalen Hurts is definitely going to enforce that on him. Like I said, there's way too many leaders in this locker room for that to be a problem. Way too many. This Eagles team, they know what they're doing. And you're just looking at this defense overall. It's just going to be absolutely amazing. It really is. It really is. I'm trying to see some other stuff here on here. So you got the Eagles' defensive line depth. You got Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, Derek Barnett's not on the team anymore. I don't know why this person posted that there. Hassan Reddick, Nolan Smith, Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis, Milton Williams, Jalen Carter. It's a very deep defensive line. Very deep. Where else? Someone tweeted like before the draft, I believe the Eagles somehow walk away with Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, Jalen Carter, and Nolan Smith in consecutive drafts. I'll build a shrine to Howie Roseman. There's just so many things that are crazy there. It's just amazing. The rotational depth with the defensive lines, man. It's absolutely crazy on how deep it is. On how many people they're just getting. And who knows, man. Who knows? I'm just still, like, shocked at some of the other picks that I saw in this draft. It was weird. Like, the Lions picking a running back after they signed one. It just doesn't make sense what some of these teams did, in my honest opinion. Then you saw Kelce's mother make the Nolan Smith selection. Kind of annoying with the dude perfect stuff and all the, you know, the Chiefs things, even though it wasn't Kansas City, so you knew they were going to hammer that to the ground. Kind of, you know, a little bit annoying there. It was kind of weird though. Will Levi, he was one of the quarterbacks in the draft that was expected to go higher. He didn't get picked at all in the first round, so that was very shocking. I think there was talk on the Twitter about something to do with like an injury in his foot, like in the toe area, and him like refusing to get surgery. And that's probably the reason why he dropped so low. There was just a lot of crazy things in this draft that just really did not make sense. But hey, maybe that was the reason why everything fell into the hands of the Eagles. Man, I'm just like, to get two great talents, both from Georgia. It's a fantastic philosophy. It's a fantastic philosophy that Howie Roseman has done. My God. Just keep drafting from there, man. Keep drafting. And I did see someone say that possibly, everything that happened, you know, with, you know, Howie Roseman's past drafts, but like, you know, with the Jalen Reagor situation, you know, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and all that stuff, and the first round misses there. Maybe that was the start of everything for Howie to start drafting better. Because then you eventually, you know, you see Devontae Smith, you eventually see Jordan Davis, you eventually see some better first round talents. He sees a lot of better picks here, accumulating all this draft capital. Hell, I think you got the 66th overall pick because of the whole situation with the Cardinals and Jonathan Gannon. Like, dealing with the compensation and all that stuff because of, like, certain situations regarding that entire weird situation. It's just, like I said, it's almost 12:30. I'm not thinking clearly, so don't, you know, take anything I say as truth. It's just stuff that I see on Twitter. Look, this draft just took forever, man. like all drafts do. But it's even worse when you have a pick in the early stages of the first round and then in the last stages because you got to wait so long. And it's just like, man, I want to do this stuff now, but I don't want to start the stream because I'll probably miss something. A trade will happen or they trade back and then like I wasted all my goddamn time because that's what I was expecting. I was expecting with all the talent that was still dropping in the first round that you could probably grab some extra picks in later rounds to where you could just accumulate more draft capital and you would move away from the 30th overall pick. You would get a pick or something like that in the second round or multiple picks in the second round, and you would try to get more of the talent that's dropping into that second round when it comes to it. So I was thinking to myself, oh my God, I wasted all this goddamn time waiting for the goddamn 30th overall pick to happen, and then they goddamn traded away. Thankfully, that didn't happen. Thankfully, they selected someone. And I think at this point, when all of that talent was dropping to the board, and it was one of the guys that they were very high on, and Nolan Smith was dropping that far, it was going to be obvious probably at that point they were going to select him just because of all the things that you heard going into the draft. So that's the most important thing there. Man, it was funny too. Did any of you that are in here, I do see a few people here that are viewing, did any of you see the, what was it, the Micah Parsons on one of the random streams, seeing when the Eagles drafted Jalen Carter, and he's just like, oh my God, all these teams passed on him, and he falls to the Eagles. They trade up to get him, and then you see A.J. Brown getting brought into the stream eventually, and he's just pleading to Micah Parsons, like, come on, dude, come on. You just admit it. You want to be an Eagle. You want to be an Eagle. And Micah Parsons almost walked out on the stream. It was just, that was funny. That was just funny. Because just right now, everything is going right for the Eagles. You're a team with Super Bowl aspirations. You get probably the best overall talent in the draft, regardless of what the off-field stuff is in Jalen Carter. And then you get another pick in the later round, and you hit on that too. So it's very nice to see. And AJ Brown. Did AJ Brown really bring tissues into the draft, into the stream for Micah Parsons? I never noticed that. That is funny. That is funny. That is hilarious. And then Ruben Frank posted something for most likely Eagles first round picks in 2024. Everyone is from Georgia. Like I said, if it's not broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep drafting for Georgia. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. It's just amazing. A team that was in the Super Bowl last year, they get luck with the Saints, getting with that trade and everything right there, Howie fleecing them. And then you ended up with a 10th overall pick. After you go to the Super Bowl, you got 2 picks in this first round. You get one of the top talents in this draft. It's amazing, man. Let's see. It's just absolutely amazing. Trying to see if there's anything else here. Yeah, Joey Porter Jr. didn't get drafted. I'm assuming he's going to be a very highly ranked guy for the second round. When do the Eagles pick in the second round? I'm sure it's not until a little later on. So I definitely got to look at that. I'm just trying to see if there's anything more here on Twitter. Because I know, is Howie Roseman even supposed to speak at this point? Because it's so late. Even though in Kansas City, it's that's like an hour, 2 hours away. Most likely an hour, so it's like 11:30 there. But it's just, I'm trying to see if Howie Roseman's talking too. I want to see this. Howie Roseman, are you speaking about anything right here? Okay, he is talking. So I'm assuming there's no quotes here for some reason. I see someone with a video. It was probably on NBC Sports, and I didn't see anything there. There we go. Howie Roseman did not think that he was going to be able to get Jalen Carter at 10, so that made sense there. Why he traded up that one spot. What else? Yeah, Howie and Nick Sirianni are in the press conference right now. They talked like, 22 minutes ago? How the fuck did I miss this? Well then. Well. That sucks. What else? What else? What else? What else? Everyone talking about the Eagles just basically becoming the Georgia Bulldogs at this point. Man. Trying to see if there's anything else. I'm just constantly seeing the A.J. Brown tissue thing. Man. This defense, man. This defense. It's definitely not... I don't think it's going to rack up as many sacks as it did last year. And you did get the whole new defensive coordinator and all that stuff. But I feel like this defense is still going to be really good. Especially like in the long run with all this young talent that you're grabbing. In my opinion. If, you know, Jordan Davis takes the next step. Because he's definitely going to be playing a bigger role. Because I don't think he was playing every single snap last year. He might have to do it this year just because you did lose Javon Hargrave. But I do think overall, it's going to be, you know, going to be probably one of the best defensive lines in football if everything pans out. Jalen Carter becomes a beast. Everything, man. I think Nakobe Dean was at Nolan Smith's draft party at his house. So that was funny to see. Just overall, man, good vibes. Good vibes overall. And I think that's the most important thing there. Everything fell into your lap, and you just ran with it. Howie saw his chance to go and get Jalen Carter. All he had to do was basically give up the 4th-round pick to move up one single spot. And Nolan Smith fell into your palms. So that was nice. Very nice. Is there anything else here on Twitter? Because I remember seeing something on here that I wanted to bring up, and now I can't find it. Probably should have saved it. Probably should have. But now I can't find it. At the end of the day, it is 12:30. So let's see. Let's see. It's crazy, man. We got Nick Sirianni talking about Jalen Carter. Nick Sirianni beating Jalen Carter in a game of horse. God. So, where did the Eagles draft in the second round? Let me see. Draft picks. Let's see. Where did they draft right now? So, their next pick is 62 overall, and then 66 overall. Okay. So, they got the late stage of the second round, which makes sense. And then from that Arizona Cardinal pick, with the whole situation with Jonathan Gannon. Okay, so they got a second-round pick, they got a third-round pick, and then they have 2 7s. So that makes sense. So, but overall, you got really 2 great talents in this first round. And whatever, if there's people that still fall in the second and the third round, you could probably find some good talents there. I'm sure with this, these next 2 rounds, they'll probably maybe get an offensive lineman. Maybe they go with an edge rusher or a cornerback. Maybe just continue to beef up that defense and beef up that offensive line. I wouldn't be shocked there. Would not be shocked there at all. Would not be shocked whatsoever. So is tomorrow just round 2, or is it just every other single round? I'm not entirely sure. Trying to see if there's anything else here. Don't think there is. Don't think there is. Sorry for being quiet right now. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else here on Twitter. Anything else that stands out. Probably not going to find anything just because it's so late at night and most people probably finally fell asleep. Yeah, I am definitely not going to find anything. Everything I'm seeing is goddamn A.J. Brown in the tissue box that he had on that stream. But man, just what a day. What a day. What a day for this Eagles team. It's just amazing how we came to this. Just fantastic overall. And that's all it is. Oh, God. Okay, Barstool just posted a video on why Will Levi fell out of the top 10. The dude puts mayonnaise in his coffee. That's a violation. That is disgusting. Maybe that's why he fell out of the top 10, not the injury concerns. Because that is just borderline, not even borderline, that is just absolutely disgusting. How the fuck do you put mayonnaise in coffee? I'm not even a coffee drinker, and that disgusts me. It just does. I am not a coffee guy. I think coffee is gross. But putting mayonnaise in coffee? Are you serious? You gotta be joking. You gotta be a maniac to think that's good. 12:30 at night, anything can happen. My God. My God. Ugh. What a barf. Think about that. Jesus. Put mayonnaise in coffee. Mayonnaise. And I hate... and I think mayonnaise is gross. The fact that you're putting it in coffee. Ugh. My God, I'm going to throw up in my sleep tonight. I'm going to have nightmares thinking about that. Nightmares? My God. Well, let's look at the entire first round of this draft before we end it off here. Let's see. Let's see what the picks are in this draft from the first round. So, just going over everything. Bryce Young, quarterback from Alabama. He goes first overall to the Carolina Panthers. CJ Stroud, Ohio State quarterback, goes second overall. Then Houston trades back up to third overall. They pick Will Anderson Jr. from Alabama. Anthony Richardson from Florida. He goes fourth to the Colts. Devon Witherspoon from Illinois, cornerback. He goes to the Seattle Seahawks at 5. Paris Johnson Jr., the Arizona Cardinals traded up to select him. Tyree Wilson, he goes to the Vegas Raiders. Bijan Robinson, the dumbest pick in probably the top 10. This is no knock on Bijan. This is just stupid to pick a running back at top 10, especially when you had a guy last year that broke 1,000 rushing yards. So, just a stupid pick from the Atlanta Falcons. No wonder why mediocre teams stay mediocre. Then you get the Eagles trading up that one pick. They get Jalen Carter. Darnell Wright goes to the Bears at 10. Peter Skoronski, he goes to the Tennessee Titans. Jahmyr Gibbs goes 12 to the Detroit Lions. That just didn't make sense at all. That was one of the shockers. Lucas Van Ness, he goes to the Packers. Broderick Jones, he goes to the Steelers. Will McDonald, he goes to the Jets. Emmanuel Forbes, he goes to the Commanders. Christian Gonzalez, he goes to the Patriots. Jack Campbell goes to the Lions. That was a terrible pick in that spot. Jack Campbell, you probably could have gotten him in the second round. That was just a bad first round for the Lions. Kelce, he goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jackson Smith goes to the Seahawks. That was the first wide receiver off the board. This was a stretch of 4 wide receivers taken in a row. Quentin Johnston, he goes to the Chargers. Zay Flowers goes to the Ravens. So they finally got Lamar Jackson, a wide receiver. And also some of the news that broke before the draft that Lamar Jackson is now the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. So go figure. Like we said, Jalen Hurts, the highest paid quarterback, wasn't going to last that long. It was good that you got that deal done early. Jordan Addison, he goes to the Minnesota Vikings. Dante Banks, he goes to the Giants. Dalton Kincaid, he goes to the Bills. Mozzie Smith goes to the Dallas Cowboys. Anton Harrison to the Jaguars. Miles Murphy goes to the Bengals. Brian Breezy goes to the Saints. Nolan Smith to the Eagles. And Felix Uzama goes to the Chiefs. And that is the end of the first round there. So let me see the second round. So the Steelers had the first pick in the second round. Cardinals, I'm assuming this was like a trade or something like that the Steelers got that first pick in the second round. Lions, Colts, Rams, Seahawks, Vegas, Carolina, Saints, Titans, blah, 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 blah. Packers have 2 picks in this round. Eagles have the pick in the later stage. Yeah, they had the second to last pick in the 3rd round, and they got the second round, and they got the 3rd pick of the 3rd round. Okay. They got stuff to work with here. They definitely do. Let's see what the best available players that are left. Will Levi, obviously. Quarterback is the best player available. Was expected to go high in the 1st round. Did not. Michael Mayer from Notre Dame. He was a tight end. Surprisingly, didn't get picked. Joey Porter, cornerback, did not get picked either. He's the 1st best player available. Brian Branch, safety from Alabama. He's the 4th best. Luke Musgrave, tight end, 5th best player. Hendon Hooker, quarterback from, I'm assuming that is, what? Tennessee. Let's see, anything else that stands out? I think Darnell Washington was a guy that I remember hearing about. Who else? What else? I do remember some people posting about, like, still best available people for the Eagles to pick, possibly if they are there in the 2nd round. Let me see. I'll go to that tweet, and we'll end it off. So let's see. Okay, best player available possibly for the Eagles. Joey Porter Jr., if he falls that far, which I don't expect him to. Brian Branch, Osiris Torrance, Jalen Hyatt, DeJuan Jones, Antonio Johnson, Zach Charbonnet, Nolan Smith, obviously he was picked already, Isaiah Foskey, and Keely Ringo. Those are some of the best players that are still available possibly for the Eagles if they are still there when the Eagles pick in the 2nd round. But who knows? Like I said, I expect the Eagles to possibly go more, beef off the depth in the offensive line most likely. Maybe they go in a secondary position. I'm not entirely sure. It's really up to Howie Roseman. Regardless, this draft is going to be fantastic with the talent that you got in the 1st round. Regardless. So what time does the 2nd round start tomorrow? Let's see. NFL draft day 2. What time? So tomorrow, day 2 of the draft is at 7. Okay. So we got that tomorrow. I'm assuming that's just, round 2. Okay. Or it's just round 2 and 3. Okay. So hopefully that'll go quicker. I'm assuming it will. But yeah. That's, we gotta wait and see for. Gotta wait and see. I'm surprised there's as many people that you're still awake. I see a lot of you people in the viewing. I am surprised you were still awake. It's 12:43 at night. Go to bed. But I appreciate you joining. I do, on a Thursday night. I appreciate everyone here. Don't worry about that. I appreciate all of you. Great night, though. Great night. Phillies win this afternoon. Good win. Eagles, fantastic 1st round. It would have been sweeter if the Atlanta Hawks beat the Boston Celtics to force that to a Game 7. But Game 6 was probably the best possible case scenario. Now the Sixers and the Celtics, they don't start till Monday. So we already know that 2nd round matchup. Rangers lost today to the Devils. That's the thing. I hate both of those teams. But it's funny to see the Rangers lose because they have cup aspirations. It's really funny to see that, honestly. Even though I would be very upset because I did pick the Rangers in my bracket to win the Stanley Cup. But it is what it is. I laugh at the rest of the division's misery, regardless, even though my Flyers suck. But yeah, I think that goes without saying at this point. Fantastic 1st round performance by the Eagles. Howie Roseman does Howie Roseman things. He's one of the best GMs in the National Football League. You get Jalen Carter. You get Nolan Smith. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So, that is going to do it for tonight, everybody. I do see some of you guys in the live chat. I'll get to you. Mr. W, how you doing, man? How does the league let us do this? Man, Howie, we do owe you an apology or what? The Capo G10106. This is the craziest 1st round ever. Nolan was a dog in this season, was shadowed by injury. King Chris TV, as a Giants fan, I hate you. King Mike, what a W. Yeah, exactly. Fantastic 1st round. Fantastic. So, It's going to do it for tonight, everybody. I do appreciate the people that did join for this late night edition of TTP Sports. Late night edition. So, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below if you're viewing this tomorrow, which probably most of you will. So, don't forget to leave those down there. Don't forget to drop a like. Definitely do that. Don't forget to check out everything in the description down below. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Does me a great deal. I believe we're 3 subscribers away from 700. So can we get to the 700 total? I'm not even checking it at this point. We probably are. Let me see. Are we at 700? 697 still. Hit that subscribe button. I want to get to 700. I want you to join us. Join me here on TTP Sports. Get the 700. And then we're very closer and closer to getting to 1,000. Just one step at a time. 3 more to 700. Let's do it. So, also, don't forget to use the code TTP Sports at SEATGEEK. You see it right here on the top of your screen. $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK. Great deal. Don't pass it up. Use it for any upcoming Phillies games, sporting events, concerts, whatever you can think of. Maybe get yourself some Sixers round 2 tickets against the Celtics. Or maybe if you want to buy early on some Eagles tickets. There you go. So, it's a great deal. Don't pass that up. Code TTP Sports, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Thank you, everyone, once again for joining tonight. Will I talk about the next rounds? Maybe in a later Eagles video. I'm not sure if I'm going to go too into depth in the later rounds. I think this first round basically covers the entire draft for this Eagles team. I really, it was 2 A+ for probably the rest of the rounds to knock anything. Anything else is just an extra good you can add to the roster. So, it's all that important there. So, thank you, everyone, for joining tonight. I'm going to go to bed. You all should go to bed, too. And I'll see you next time.